Trump's key strike asset exits the Middle East, as Iran tightens its grip over the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Iran exacts a heavy price from vessels seeking safe transit through the world's most critical maritime choke point. Iran's new style of maritime warfare shocks Arab states, enforcing restricted passage with selective access controls. Tehran introduces designated shipping routes, deciding which vessels can pass and which are denied entry. Iran signals a shift in global power dynamics, turning the Strait of Hormuz into a powerful geopolitical lever. With America's top strike platform back home, Washington struggles to reassure allies amid rising Iranian dominance. Iran launched the Hormuz Safe platform, signaling a concerted push to tighten Tehran's control over shipping and commercial activity in the Strait of Hormuz. Fast News reported the system will offer digital maritime insurance for ships transiting the route, a move Tehran says will protect commerce while placing oversight under Iranian authorities. The platform also enables payments in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, adding a new financial layer intended to bypass conventional banking channels and sanctions constraints. The chairman of Parliament's National Security Committee said Iran designed a designated route system to regulate passage and direct vessels through supervised corridors. Ibrahim Azizi said only commercial vessels that cooperate with Iranian authorities and comply with new procedures will be allowed safe passage under the scheme. Azizi also warned that hostile countries, including the United States, could be barred from the designated route, tying access to political alignment and cooperation. Subsequently, the Iranian parliament speaker warned the world is on the cusp of a new order, framing the initiative as part of a broader shift in maritime and geopolitical arrangements. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said, and I quote, "I emphasize that the Iranian nation's 70-day resistance has accelerated this transformation. The future belongs to the global south." Unquote. Meanwhile, a former U.S. State Department official warned that Iran is unlikely to retreat from asserting its rights over the strait, stressing the durability of Tehran's posture. Alan Ayer said the U.S. faces no good way out as accumulating economic damage increases pressure and complicates options for de-escalation. Ayer noted that if Chinese ships receive preferential access under Iran's scheme, Beijing would have less incentive to pressure Tehran to change its behavior. He also suggested that recent US-China talks are unlikely to compel Tehran to back down, given Iran's new tools and strategic calculations. Those comments came as President Trump publicly claimed China had offered to help with the Iran war, assertions that intersect with growing debate over who controls access and influence in Hormuz. China's official readout and top diplomat statements have raised questions about Donald Trump's claims on Iran, since Beijing's account omitted several details he publicly highlighted. On May 15, China's foreign minister described the Xi-Trump talks as fruitful and wide-ranging, framing the summit as a substantive engagement across many policy areas. Wang Yi said the two leaders spent nearly 9 hours in exchanges that combined formal talks, state banquets and working meetings, underscoring the visit's intensity. He emphasized a tone of mutual respect, a shared commitment to peace and a willingness to expand cooperation, language aimed at calming tensions and deepening ties. Wang also said both sides agreed to build a more constructive relationship of strategic stability, signaling an interest in steadier, calmer US-China relations. However, China's official readout and Wang Yi himself made no mention of Iran's nuclear program, a notable omission given Trump's public statements on the subject. The readout likewise did not refer to any offer by Beijing to help resolve the Iran conflict, contradicting Trump's subsequent claims that she had offered assistance. That contrast stands in stark relief to Trump's assertion that she could influence Tehran on both uranium enrichment and the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. Beijing instead reiterated its consistent position calling for dialogue and de-escalation, favoring diplomatic steps rather than pressure or coercive measures. On the Strait of Hormuz, China said reopening should depend on a sustained ceasefire, a conditional formulation that stops short of endorsing external enforcement actions.
And President Xi would like to see a deal made. He would like to see a deal made. And he did offer, he said, if I can be of any help at all, I would like to be of help. Because,
he did say that.
Yeah, he did say that. And look, anybody that buys that much oil has obviously got some kind of a relationship with him. But he said, I would love to be of help. If I can be of any help whatsoever, he'd like to see the Hormuz Strait open. He said, if I could be of any help whatsoever, I would like to help. This has been an incredible visit. I think a lot of good has come of it. We've made some fantastic trade deals, great for both countries. He's a man I respect greatly. become really a friend. We've known each other now 11 years, almost 12 years. It's a long time. And we've settled a lot of different problems that other people wouldn't have been able to settle. And the relationship is a very strong one. We did discuss Iran. We feel very similar to Iran. We want that to end. And we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open. We're closing it now. I mean, they closed it, and we closed it on top of them. But we want the straits open, and we want them to get it ended because it's a crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy, and it's no good. Can't have it. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Meanwhile, China's readout focused heavily on economic cooperation and trade expansion, reflecting Beijing's priority to lock in commercial gains from high-level visits. Both sides agreed to improve market access and set up new trade and investment mechanisms, pledging practical steps to deepen bilateral economic ties. Taiwan was characterized by Beijing as the most important issue in bilateral relations, a reminder of the core sensitivity that shapes China's approach to the United States. The USS Gerald R. Ford returned home after an 11-month deployment, the longest U.S. carrier deployment since the Vietnam War, marking a rare extended at-sea period for a single carrier group. The carrier spent 326 days at sea supporting U.S. operations related to tensions in Iran and security missions near Venezuela, conducting sustained maritime presence and strike sorties. The Ford's return came at a sensitive moment as Washington weighs its next steps in the Iran conflict, complicating decisions about force posture and regional deterrence. The carrier was deployed with destroyers USS Bainbridge and USS Mahan as part of an integrated strike group tasked with power projection and escort duties. Around 5,000 sailors returned home after nearly a year at sea with the Ford carrier group, reuniting with families following an unusually long operational tour. The deployment involved intense operations and even a fire incident aboard the carrier that strained the crew and required emergency response measures at sea. Upon the Ford's return, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth praised the crew, saying they made history for completing the extended mission under challenging conditions. The carrier's homecoming raises questions about U.S. readiness in the Middle East, as planners consider how to sustain presence while other assets are unavailable. The Ford now faces a lengthy maintenance and availability period after its record deployment, reducing its near-term operational availability for follow-on missions. Multiple U.S. carriers are also undergoing or preparing for overhauls and maintenance, which together limit the Navy's carrier availability at a time of heightened demand. U.S. forces nearly depleted key weapon stockpiles during the 40-day conflict with Iran, officials say, prompting urgent replenishment and procurement concerns. Meanwhile, on May 16, President Trump posted on Truth Social a warning of a calm before the storm, a phrase that many interpreted as hinting at potential escalation. The post included an artificial intelligence-generated image showing Trump amid warships flying Iranian flags on rough seas, a provocative visual that added to tensions and public speculation about next steps. Earlier, Trump warned of a very bad time if talks with Iran remained deadlocked, signaling frustration and the risk of harsher measures.